Happy 2019, friends. Hope that everybody's had a good start to their new year. We're just kind of marching right through January, aren't we? I'm back. I'm back to read another book of the Bible. I have thought about this for a while. I've been thinking about this since before the holidays as far as what book to do. I know a couple others I want to do in 2019, but it's the beginning of the year and I wanted to do a good New Beginnings book. But we've already done John. Last year, this time we did Genesis. So the book that sort of God's been pressing on my heart and just keeping in the back of my mind is Romans. Now I love Romans. I'm going to be honest with you. I have read it a lot. I have not in-depth studied it like I have some of the other books that I've read. I want to. It is on my to-do list. I just have other books that keep taking my time away. But I do love this book, and I do love the purpose of why it was written, which I'm going to kind of cheat and use some of the notes that are in my Bible for this. But Romans was a book written by Paul because the gospel of Jesus that he was preaching, justification by faith alone, was under attack at the time that he wrote this. There were, of course, people who completely believed that it was just a bunch of phony baloney. There were other people who took what he was preaching and twisted it to suit their own needs. And how familiar does that sound to today's day and age? Some legalistic, they were known as Judaizers, some who were super legalistic said, yes, salvation is by grace alone, but by the way, you got to keep all of the laws from the book of the law also. Got to do everything the way it was written in the very beginning or none of it counts. Obviously, that is not what Jesus intended. Then you had the other side who were like, no, it's grace alone. And because it's grace alone, I can keep doing whatever I want to do because I'm saved by grace. So I'm just going to keep getting saved and I can keep doing whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. And it's all good. Clearly that was not correct either. So Paul, in his God-given wisdom for the ministry that Jesus had appointed him to, did what he could do best. And he basically, like a lawyer, I don't want to say put the gospel on trial, but kind of put the gospel on trial, called the gospel to witness to itself. As this says, he calls the gospel to the witness stand and examines it. And he examines it from every angle, and what we get out of that is the book of Romans. And Romans, in a lot of sense, is considered the constitution of our Christian faith. And, if you know anything about governments, if you know anything about businesses, that constitution is the bedrock of which we stand on. So that's what we have in Romans. I am excited to be reading it. I do, and still cheating and using some of these notes in my Bible, my goal for this, for myself, as well as for anyone that's going along with this, is to be able to answer some of these questions when we're done with it, for you to be able to answer these questions amongst yourself. When we're done reading Romans, if you don't already know this, how is a person saved? I want you to be able to answer, how is a person saved from their sins, for eternity? If someone accused you of not being a Christian, what proof would you be able to give to point to the fact that you are indeed a Christian? Spoiler alert, who do you say Jesus is? And do the actions in your life prove that you believe who you say Jesus is? This is an important one. Do you know how to share the gospel with someone else? That is something that I do this with y'all every day, but in my day-to-day conversations, am I good about making sure that I could share the gospel freely with someone else and tell someone else that Jesus Christ loves them and died on the cross for their sins without being a crazy Bible beater about it? And then, are you ready to defend the gospel of Jesus Christ? And I think we can all look around in our society and realize that every day that goes by, we need to be prepared to defend the gospel of Jesus Christ, because this is the constitution of our faith. And if we believe it, then we need to be willing to stand up and fiercely defend it, knowing that Jesus goes with us first. So all that to be said, we're going to do Romans. So hang on, here we go, and Happy New Year. See ya in the days to come.